In a small village surrounded by hills, there lived a boy named Jack. His family was poor, and life was always a struggle. They lived in a small old house with a leaking roof. It wasn't much, but it was their home. Jack's father worked as a farmer, but the land was dry, and every year the crops didn't grow as expected. Jack's mother worked as a cleaner, but her income was very low, and it was never enough to cover the bills. Despite their hardships, Jack's parents worked hard to provide whatever they could. Jack's early years. Jack had always known what it meant to struggle. He didn't have the toys that other children had. His clothes were old and his shoes had holes. But Jack never complained. From a young age, he understood that there were bigger problems in life. He spent his days helping his father in the fields and working around the house with his mother. Even at a young age, Jack had a dream. He wanted to change his life. He didn't want to live like this forever. Jack's school was far from his village, so every day he walked miles to reach it. He didn't have a fancy backpack, just an old bag that his father had used when he was younger. The children in his class had nice clothes and new books. They seemed to live a different life, a life Jack could only dream about. Despite the differences, Jack loved school. He loved learning, and he always paid close attention to the lessons. But there was always a feeling in the back of his mind. Can I really make something of myself? Or will I always be stuck in this life? One day, his teacher asked the class, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Many children raised their hands and shouted, "I want to be a doctor. I want to be a pilot. I want to be a scientist." Jack remained silent, unsure of what to say. He didn't know if he could ever have those dreams. His life had been hard, and the future seemed even harder. But there was one thing he knew for sure. He didn't want to be poor forever. The turning point. One night, as Jack lay in bed, he overheard his parents talking. His father was tired from a long day of work in the fields, and his mother was worried about the future. She was crying softly. Jack heard his mother say, "We don't have enough money for his school fees. How will he ever become something?" Jack's heart broke. His parents loved him and wanted the best for him, but there was so little they could give. That night, Jack decided that he couldn't just wait for things to change. He would take control of his future. He made a promise to himself. "I will not let my circumstances define me. I will work hard and change my life." The struggle to find work. The very next day, Jack started looking for ways to help his family. He wasn't old enough to get a full-time job, but he knew there were small tasks he could do. He went to the village market and asked if anyone needed help. Most people didn't take him seriously. After all, he was just a boy. But finally, an old shopkeeper noticed Jack and agreed to let him help around the shop. The work was hard. Jack would sweep the floors, arrange the shelves, and sometimes even deliver goods to the villagers. The pay was small, but it was enough to help his family buy food. Jack was happy to work, but there was still something else on his mind: school. Even though he worked all day, Jack never stopped going to school. He woke up early to help his father and then rushed to school, studying whenever he had a break. He couldn't afford to buy new books, so he borrowed old ones from the library. He wrote his homework in a small notebook that was falling apart. Despite being exhausted from working late every night, Jack kept going. He didn't give up. Every time he felt tired, he remembered the promise he made to himself: "I will not stop until my life changes." A new opportunity. One day, Jack's teacher noticed how hard he was working. Even though Jack was tired, his grades had improved. His teacher saw potential in him, and one day after class, she called him over. "Jack," the teacher said, "I've been watching you." You are doing better than many of the other students. You work hard, and you never give up. I want to help you." Jack was amazed. "How can you help me?" he asked. The teacher smiled and said, "I'm going to speak to the principal about giving you a scholarship. You deserve it." Jack couldn't believe it. The scholarship would cover all his school fees, and he could focus more on his studies. Jack felt like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. He worked even harder in school, and soon he was one of the top students in his class. The big break years passed, and Jack finished school with excellent grades. He decided to apply for a university scholarship, an opportunity that many children from his village never even dreamed of. He wrote an essay about his struggles, his dreams, and his determination to succeed. After a long wait, the results came in. Jack had won the scholarship. He was going to university. This was the moment Jack had worked for his entire life. His parents were overjoyed, and Jack felt proud of everything he had achieved. It wasn't just luck. It was his hard work, his sacrifices, and his refusal to give up that made this possible. Success and giving back. Jack went to university and worked harder than ever. After many years of studying, he graduated with a degree in business. But Jack never forgot his roots. He remembered the struggles, the sleepless nights, and the moments when he almost gave up. He made a promise to himself that when he became successful, he would give back to the community that had helped him. Jack became a successful businessman. He used his wealth to build a better life for his parents. He also started a charity to help poor children in his village get an education, just like he had. Jack's story became an inspiration to everyone in the village. "If Jack can do it, then I can do it," the children would say. And Jack would always reply, "It's not about where you come from, it's about where you're going. Work hard, believe in yourself, and never give up." Jack's journey teaches us that no matter how difficult life is, we have the power to change our own future. Hard work, determination, and never giving up can turn dreams into reality. If you liked this story, please subscribe, like, and comment.